How does it look? Convincing?
What in heaven's name?
I know. I owe you an explanation. What is presumed to have happened here tonight is someone broke in. The door's been jimmied and started taking our takeables. You heard a noise and called the police. I believe your phrase was, someone's downstairs. A prowler.
How did you know that?
He took the gun from our nightstand drawer and came down here to investigate. The thief saw you, panicked, and there was a struggle. Then, unfortunately,
Arthur,
he shot you.
for God's sake!
All right. The gun has a rubberized grip. It won't take legible prints, so that's covered. My cigar. I could have smoked it before I went out. My umbrella, I'll take that with me. Obviously, I'll have to accelerate things. The police take an average of 12 minutes to respond to a crime in progress call, and I've been here much too long. I have to cut it in half. Anything else? My drink. He was there, Your Honor. The police found the glass, and the ice wasn't even melted yet. Idiot. All that's left is to make sure that no one sees me leave, and that should be that. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. Your witness, Mr. Prosecutor.
State your name and occupation, please.
My name is Arthur Jameson. I practice law.
Oh, come now, sir. You hardly do yourself justice. Isn't it the fact that you're one of the most prominent criminal attorneys in the state, if not the country?
Guilty. Beg pardon? You make it difficult to be modest, Counselor. Since I'm under oath, I'm simply agreeing with you.
Mr. Jameson, would you be good enough to tell the jury of the events of the night of June 15?
Certainly. I had been invited to speak to a group of graduating law students. Each June, they throw a dinner. It's something of a tradition.
And did you go to this dinner?
I did.
Where was it held?
The students took a banquet room at a local hotel.
How was your wife when you left her?
I'm not sure I understand. Are you asking me about her mood, her character?
I was referring to her physical state.
And I suggest you say so. Your function is to clarify, not obscure.
Mr. Jameson, with all due respect, I would appreciate a less patronizing attitude.
And I would appreciate, with all due respect, questions of a more pertinent nature.
I will certainly try to do better, sir.
As for your wife, as for my wife, in answer to what I think you're asking me, her physical state was one of being alive.
Go on.
I drove to the hotel. We all sat down to dinner at 8. At 10, I made some brief remarks, and I was followed by the other guest.
When did the evening end? I hate to keep harping on the time.
Perfectly understandable. I'd say 11:15. Then some of us went into the hotel bar for a nightcap. We've heard testimony that your wife called the police at 10:40. She reported a prowler in the house. When they arrived on the scene, they found that she had been...
Forgive me, Mr. Jameson. I know this is difficult for you.
They found she had been shot and killed.
Yes.
According to their report, you came home at 12:06. 12:06. That's right. Most people would have said around midnight. You don't have most people on the stand, Counselor.
Yes, sir, I'm very aware of that. In any event, when you were told what had happened, you reacted with shock and outrage. You must have loved her very much.
Yes, I did.
Of course.
And that's why I'm puzzled. That in the weeks before her death, she told a number of her friends that she wanted a divorce. She also said she had assured herself of an enormous settlement.
What does that suggest to you?
It suggests that we had one of our rare fights and she overreacted.
Yes, but this enormous settlement.
Our examination of your financial records indicates that your wife had signed a prenuptial agreement, by which she assumed she'd get anything at all, unless what?
Unless, just as an example,
she had reason to believe she had certain leverage. Objection, Your Honor. Clearly immaterial. Isn't it a fact that the bar associations of 3 states have questioned the conduct of some of your recent cases and that there have been rumors of sharp practices? Objection. Strike that from the record. I cite the prosecutor for sharp practices of his own.
But if these rumors about your professional integrity were true, and if your wife was somehow in possession of damaging information, the objection has been sustained, Counselor. So it has. Withdraw the question. Mr. Jameson, according to your testimony, you began your, and I quote, brief remarks at 10. Your wife called the police at 10:40. What was to stop you from going home instead of the restroom? Why would I do that, Counselor? To avoid tipping the attendant? The hotel is no more than a few miles from your house, a drive of perhaps 15 minutes at most. You're an encyclopedia of extraneous information. I wouldn't dare to be extraneous, sir. Not after your lecture on pertinence. So, let us assume that you did leave the hotel. That is a dangerous assumption. Dangerous for who, Mr. Jameson? Your wife? Objection. 15 minutes to drive to your house. 10 minutes to do whatever had to be done. Objection. Another 15 minutes back to the hotel. Would have been gone no more than 45 minutes.
Your Honor, this is grandstanding. The prosecutor is accusing me of nothing more serious than the crime of convenient geography. Am I to be held responsible for the proximity of a hotel to my home?
Yes, sir, you are. A young man named Bill Keith was the banquet chairman, and he is prepared to testify that you suggested the location for the dinner. He will also tell us that your acceptance was conditional upon the availability of nearby accommodations. Not very clever of me. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the elements of a crime are means, motive, and opportunity. And if you consider Arthur Jameson in this light, you will see that he had the means, a burglary that never took place. He had the motive, his wife wanted a divorce and was demanding a large financial settlement. And he had the opportunity, a dinner near his home that was intended to serve as an alibi. But it is a phantom alibi. And the so-called burglary outrages logic in every way. Here is a terrified woman who calls the police and reports an intruder. Does she then lock herself in her room and wait for them to arrive? No. Instead, she makes a totally irrational trip downstairs to confront the thief. Irrational, that is, unless there was no thief and she knew the intruder. All right, it won't work. I'll have to do it another way. Absolutely. I have to plug up some of the holes. Killer in the bedroom. The alibi. Very weak. It's an unacceptable risk. We'll have to come up with something better reasonably soon.